If you've been tracking with us for any amount of time, you've probably heard that our vision at the project is to see 1% of the young adults in Edmonton make a decision to follow Jesus and call the project their home. One of the things we say here at our church is we can't stay here, meaning that we don't ever want to find ourselves stuck. Healthy things grow, and we want to always be moving to what is next for the project community. That's why we are really excited to announce that the next for the project is to launch a new project campus at our Hope City Kingsway location. This will not be a new church, but rather one church in two locations. The same vision, mission, leadership, and equally as important, the same DNA, community, and people. Just in a new location that will allow us to share Jesus in a practical and life-changing way with the young adults living around and attending the schools in that area. So what can you do to be a part of this next for the project? First, I'd say ask God. Pray about this. Is this a step that you're supposed to take? Consider giving a 1-year commitment to the Kingsway campus. Maybe this is your community that you need to be serving in. But one way everybody can support the Project Kingsway, even today, right now, is to pray for this launch. Pray for the community, the students in the area, and the impact we can have together as we go after what God has next for the project and for young adults in our city.
Hey guys, welcome to the project tonight. Why don't you go and stand with us here for worship?
Face to face. All we have, a final breath. Let mind be filled with praise for you. Let me think nothing and be a song I sing for you. I have made my choice, have set my course. All to you, all to you. Love is my life. I will give my life all to you.
Well, again, welcome to the project tonight, guys. My name is Brett, and this is James, and we're stoked you guys decided to be here tonight on such a nice day. It's like really hot today. I feel like it's almost too hot, but we probably shouldn't complain because it's like minus 40 for half the year here, so we should be happy with like high 30s, right? But yeah, glad that you guys are here tonight. Also want to say hey to everyone who's watching online right now. We're glad that you guys are tuning in from home as well.
Obviously, and we mentioned it just in the announcements before that video, we were talking about how masks are changing. The rules on masks are changing, or at least that's what has been communicated by the medical officials and the people that are in charge of our Edmonton bylaws. And as a church, we've always taken the stance that we would obey what the health officials would say we need to do legally. Ever since the start, actually even before mask bylaws were in place, we put them in place. When there was a time where we were allowed to have 30% people, we actually went with 25%. We've always kind of taken a conservative approach and wanted to keep people safe. And I know that, I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you've noticed, but things like masks and COVID in general has become this great divide for people. It's created conflict. Not everybody agrees on how things should go and how we should go about that. But I want to be clear on this. Starting next week, we are following the rules, as we always have. As the rules change, there will no longer be mandatory masks in this space, which personally I'm pretty excited about. I'm not a huge fan of masks. I have to, they don't really fit my face. It's uncomfortable. It's not my favorite thing, though I recognize why we've had them for the last little while. And I understand that some people may not be overly ecstatic about this. Some of us are excited, we're ready to go. Some of us are pretty apprehensive. Here's what I want to say. If you want to wear a mask, you are welcome to continue to wear a mask. And here is my call and my challenge, and I actually know us and our community pretty well here, so I'm not really concerned about this. But I just want to give this from the stage. Nobody will be shamed for wearing a mask. It's not going to be an awkward thing. We don't know it's not always like, oh man, I've seen this out there. If you're going to wear a mask beyond the date that it's legally not allowed, you're fearful, you're living in fear, you're part of the narrative, you're whatever. We don't know everybody's family situation. We don't know their health situation, what they're dealing with at home, if their family member is going through cancer treatment or something like that. We don't know everything about COVID. And so let's, as always, act in love to people and patience. And if you're nervous about coming in person and you're thinking, man, this is my last week I can come, you can wear a mask. And I would say for the time being, if you need to find a space in the building where you can be a few feet away from people, I think you'll be able to do that. Nobody's going to judge you for that. You're welcome here. The thing about the project is this: no matter what our ideologies are, no matter actually whether you believe in Jesus or not, whether you're from a different religious background, racially, from a different culture, whatever it is, you are welcome here. The project is for everyone. Even if we're not on the same page on some things, you are welcome to be a part of this community. And we want that to continue. We want to be unified by what we believe in and not divided by the separate things that maybe we have disagreements on. And masks, I think, is a pretty silly one to get great divides and conflict between us. So that's just something I felt I needed to say. We hope to see you here. And if you need to take some time and just watch online, we have a lot of great people online right now engaging with us, and they are equally a part of the project community as we are here in person right now. So shout out to everyone online. However you feel comfortable, you're welcome to do that. But masks are off next week. And basically, we're going for it. So just be aware of that. Let's be together. Let's be loving to one another. Don't jump in for a huge hug. Don't talk like 3 inches away. That was never okay to talk like that. So I don't know why we're going to suddenly just start getting into people's personal spaces. That's where we're at. So here tonight, I want to let you know something. Life is hard. Life is particularly hard. Life is difficult. And here's kind of why. It seems that everything in life that is enjoyable, that is fun, isn't usually the best for us. Like, think about food, right? Like, think about your favorite food. The foods that you love, the most delicious foods, are usually the ones that will cause your heart to stop eventually if you have a lot of it, or it will make you unhealthy, or it will make your pants fit tighter, or it will just make you generally unhealthy. But it's the foods that are good for you that are generally disgusting. Like kale. Kale is always pushed out as a superfood. People love kale. Kale is the worst. Kale is suffering. It's like thistles. It's like I might as well just put thistles in my salad or blend it in with my morning smoothie or whatever. Yeah, it's a superfood, but it hurts. It's not delicious. It's the worst thing ever. But it actually is extremely good for you. They've proven that. But it seems to me, and this is the one thing that seems to be the most difficult pattern to behave in that is good for you. The thing that is actually the most beneficial to your health, to your mental health, to your physical health, to just your whole basic well-being is the most fleeting element of my life personally, and it seems more and more statistically to the human experience. This thing is something that actually feels like it's stealing from you. It feels like it's something that is ruining parts of your life because it's stealing as much as a third of your life. And of course I'm talking about sleep. Sleep, we all love it, right? When we want it and when we need it, it seems to be fleeting at all times. But once we have it, we can't get enough of it. And when we have to wake up in the morning, it's like I couldn't fall asleep the night before, but now all I want is to just sleep. And I'm already planning, like I'm just barely able to get up and go brush my teeth and get up for work and be ready and get to work. And then I'm sitting there at my desk and just like, man, I can't wait to get home. I'm going to go to bed early tonight. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. As soon as I get home, I'm going to have dinner, going to like maybe watch a little bit of TV or something, but then I'm going to bed at 9:30. But that night, I find myself up again at 1 a.m. and I'm wasting my life away and I'm still not, and suddenly I'm no longer tired. Where did that tiredness that I woke up with go? Because now I hit my second wind and there's so many activities to do tonight. There's so many things I could do that are productive. There's so many cool things I could learn. The world is my oyster. The internet is all out there and there's so many opportunities. Why would I go to sleep? I know it's 1 a.m., but there's this thing, and I got to confess, I've been watching it recently every single day on YouTube, and it's called The Raccoon Whisperer. Has anybody seen The Raccoon Whisperer? Oh man, you need to see The Raccoon Whisperer. It's this elderly man. He's retired. I don't know his story, but I need to. And he has like a webcam and like on his deck, and he just like has his cell phone and he live streams to YouTube and he feeds wild raccoons that come in from the woods. And there's like first time I saw it, there was literally 20 raccoons, baby raccoons, which are adorable, by the way, and there's all these other raccoons, and he's feeding them hot dogs, and he has like, last night's episode was called Baby Raccoon Pizza Party. Like, tell me you wouldn't click on that. And like, he just has pizza out there, and there's raccoons crawling all over him, and like, he's like, hey, Scooter, get over here, Scooter. Woody, stop fighting with that other one over there. You make sure the babies get some. And like, he's not a senile old man, he's just a friendly old man who loves these wild, it's like a Disney movie on YouTube. And I watch it every day, and it's what de-stresses me. But I just know that one day there's the potential that we're going to go to the live stream and he's going to just be a carcass picked clean by these ravenous animals, because raccoons are terrifying. If they turn on him, 20 raccoons can do a lot of damage very quickly. But we're hoping for this guy. The Raccoon Whisperer, we're praying for you. And if you haven't seen it, you need to check that out. The other thing I find is like, that's 1 a.m., but I found myself recently, just last night, it's like 2:30 a.m., and I'm still in bed scrolling through my phone. You know, you've seen everything. No one's up posting anything new on Instagram, but I'm still on it. Why? Why? Nothing good is on there. TikTok, there's just cat video, cat video, cat video, cat video. Nothing new is on TikTok, but still I'm searching for something to entertain me. I know sleep is what I need. I've needed it forever. I need rest. But then I even go, I'm desperate, I go to Facebook. That's the lowest point. And I'm noticing that people, and I'm like reading countless examples of my friends who are sharing that they just had their preschool kid, little Timmy, just had a ceremony to graduate preschool. Why do I care? Why are we celebrating preschool with ceremonies? Congratulations, you made it through. Has anyone failed preschool? Why do I care about this? We should be, you know who deserves a ceremony? The preschool teacher who's been putting up with 24-year-olds for a long time. Have you ever hung out with a 4-year-old? Try hanging out with 20 of them. We should throw celebrations for preschool teachers. But I'll tell you what, none of this is worth staying up late, because rest is actually super, super important. Rest matters. Rest is something that's fleeting in our society. Rest is something that we don't seem to be able to get. The blue light from our devices, we're constantly told that we're not sleeping enough, that we're too busy, that our life has become go, 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 go. We're inundated with information nonstop. We never take a breath. We never take a break. We never take a step back. And that's kind of how the world wants us to act, right? They want us to constantly be engaging, constantly buying stuff, constantly wanting to see ads, constantly seeking after things so we'll buy more and make more money so we can buy more. It becomes this problem with us and with society. We want to be busy. It's become good to be busy. And I'm not saying being lazy is good, but being busy has become a virtue in our society. There's an author named John Mark Comer, and he wrote this book that I recommend called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And he says this, that it's become this trend that within our society, when someone says, "How are you?" what do you say? Say, "Good." Busy. Good, but busy. Good. How are you? Oh yeah, I know. I'm good, but I'm busy too. Yeah, I'm busy. As if like we're nervous to not say that we're busy. Like if we don't say we're busy, someone's gonna be like, "This guy's a lazy person. Like I can't do business with this guy. He's clearly not busy." But busy has become like a status symbol. I'm busy. We're busy. And I've kind of started to play a game with this, and maybe it's facetious, maybe it's not nice, but people will be like, "Oh, I'm busy," and I'll be like, "What are you busy with?" A lot of stuff. You know, like, do you do stuff? I've been busy doing stuff. I'm like, "Oh yeah, stuff. I know stuff. I've done stuff, right?" But we're not that busy. Like, we're just living life, but we've decided that that's a marker that we're okay with saying, "Oh yeah, I'm busy." And what it's become is this, that my value is in the perception that I am busy, in the feeling that I'm busy. And why is that? I think it's as long as I'm doing something and I'm busy doing something, I don't have to answer for my time. I don't have to answer for my wasted time. I don't have to answer for my mistakes I've made. I don't have to be self-analytical. I don't have to acknowledge the self-improvements that I need to make in who I am as a follower of Jesus, as a human being, as a family member, as a friend, as a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a child, a spouse. I don't have to recognize what I need to improve on because I'm too busy. Sound like you? Have you been there? It's this signal of productivity that we are all on the same page. We're so busy. But I want to look at what God says about busyness and what God says about rest. Because honestly, God doesn't want us to be lazy. That's not something that we're aiming for. But God actually says a lot through the Bible about rest and through something that's often not talked about in church. And maybe because it's kind of a weird thing and it's hard to understand, it's often seen as this old rhetoric from the Old Testament, from the first half of the Bible, and that's the Sabbath. You ever heard of the Sabbath? It's not really a word we throw around much, right? Like it's something maybe if you've been around church, your grandparents talked about, you've heard it talked about in church, but we don't really dial in on it. And I want to today. We'll start off at Exodus 20:8-11, and it says this: "Remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons, your daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living with you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the seventh day he rested. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy." So this is actually, if you've heard of the 10 Commandments, this is one of the 10 Commandments, is that you would keep the Sabbath day holy. So obviously it's important. God put it in his 10 biggest challenges to society, that there is some value to this, but yet it seems like it's something that we don't even care to talk about or look at. So why does he care? Well, let's look at Genesis 2:2-3, and this is like right at the beginning of the creation story of the Bible. And it says this: "By the seventh day God completed his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." So let's take a look at something that is a little more complex, but it's actually worth doing. I don't know if you know this about the Bible, but it wasn't written in English. Like it's not, I know that Christianity is predominantly a big deal in North America, but it's actually like a Middle Eastern religion that started out there. And Hebrew is one of the languages that it was originally written in, especially the first half. In Hebrew, also Aramaic, and then also Greek. These are the 3 main languages that the Bible was originally written in. And God, as we talk about here, he's like the architect of the Bible. Yeah, he didn't like send down a God hand and write like a big hand from heaven and write it out on stone or something like that. But he, in the same way an architect writes out the blueprints, but doesn't put all the brick together on a building. It's still his design, it's still his management, it's still his goal and his purpose. And it's just people that he had construct what he had designed. And that's how the Bible works. So there's different cultures that had written different parts of this. It's a very multicultural book. And so sometimes what we do is we want to understand when we read the Bible, we can't just look at the culture in 2021 and say, what does the Bible say that fits with our culture? But we actually want to look at what the Bible can tell us and can help us in navigating culture. So when we look at it, we actually look at sometimes at the original language for specific words. And here's why. Because not every language has the same words or the same amount of words for a specific word. So I'll give you one, for example. The word love in Hebrew has 3 different words: raya, ahava, and dod. One being like a relationship between a friend, like I love my best friend. One being a romantic relationship and saying like, oh, like we're dating, or this is my wife and I love her. And then there's the one called dod, which even sounds a little dirty, and it's the one for sex, right? So like dod, like raya, ahava, dod. So you want to get that right if you're reading the Bible and it says love your neighbor as yourself, right? You want to figure out which love we're talking about. And if we just read into what it is for today based on the English word love, we could get it twisted and get it messed up. So I want to take a look at that type of thing. I want to look at the original words for rest in the Bible. There's 2 main Hebrew words used for rest in the Bible. First one is Shabbat, and I hope I'm not butchering this because I am not, a linguistic scholar in Hebrew language, but I'll do my best. Shabbat, which gets partially translated to the word Sabbath. This word for rest simply means to stop working. Like think about it, even like it sounds like stop. Like, hey, Shabbat, you're done, stop. And think of this word like you've got an hourly job and at the end of the day, you clock out before you come back the next day to clock back in. There's another word though,
And this one is also Hebrew, but it's nuach. This means to dwell or settle. This isn't the same as like clocking out. This is a little bit different. Like this is rest in the sense of like you and your friends, after not seeing each other for a long time, have like a camp or like a night where you have a fire pit and you just sit down and you have like a cold drink and your friends are all there. You got lawn chairs and it cools down. It's not 1,000,000,000 degrees outside like it is right now. And everyone can just kind of take a breath and relax. You just have a chance to relax. It's a cold day and you've been busy at work and you come home and you just like, there's a fireplace at your parents' place or you go to your grandparents for Christmas and everyone sits together and everyone's there and you relax and you rest. It's different than stop, but there's a settling in. There's something that is relaxing. There's something almost analytical, spiritual about it. And this is what that is. And God sets up Shabbat and Nuach right around the same time. And when we read the Bible, these original languages seem to work in tandem together. These two words work together in harmony when we look at Sabbath. They actually complement each other a lot. They're meant to be similar in a way. So this means that God clearly cares about rest because he demands it in a sense. He commands it. And often we wonder about religion. It's like, man, like a lot of commandments, rules, restrictions, that's a big negative that people see on Christianity. And this is the thing, it's not so much about like regulations and rules, but there are regulations and rules. I didn't like the word regulations, but there are rules that sometimes are for our best interest to help us to be the best we can be as friends, just even for ourselves spiritually, physically, mentally. If I said that there's kind of this general rule that you shouldn't just eat nothing but fast food forever, well, yeah, that's a rule, but it's probably good for you at the end. The Bible is full of these ideas, these pathways that you should live your life not because it wants to be restrictive, but because it leads to the best end scenario for us. If we're just going every direction we want to go, we're going to find ourselves lost. We're going to find ourselves really struggling, and that's where some of these things come up. So God cares about this. But here's the question, because we don't really talk about this, and I'll be honest, sometimes I struggle with this. How do we find rest? How do I follow what God's saying if he puts in his commandments, but yet how do I do that in a way that is realistic? Like, I don't even know where to start with this thing. Like, does it have to be on Sunday? Because that's kind of the day that church happens, and traditionally, if you've been around church, that's the day that has been seen as the Sabbath. What do I do with that? What counts as work? Like, I'm not supposed to work. Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? Like, how do I do this? Why does it matter at all? Like, can't I just work all the time? Like, really, like, I'm not that tired. I've been going strong for a long time, for 20 some years, and I'm good. Like, I don't really need it. Maybe other people need more rest, but I'm a go-getter. I hustle. I don't have time for this. Well, let's take a look. The danger that can exist with human beings whenever we have any sort of rules, like I said, or any sort of regulations, is that it can be taken too far and become legalism. So this actually happened when Jesus was walking on the earth, when he lived on earth some 2,000 years ago. And what happens with legalism means that when there's a rule that's in our best interest, it becomes so focused on the letter of the law that we lose the heart of the law. We lose the benefit, so we can just go rigid towards the thing as far into the rule and the legalistic side of it as we can. And Jesus actually had to counter this a lot, because the most predominant group of leaders at the time, the religious leaders in Jewish culture, were called the Pharisees. Generally, if you call the Pharisee, it's not a positive thing. They were really, really controlling. They dominated society. They took the rules and they used them to control people and to kind of signal to everyone of how awesome I am, right? Look how great I am. I've taken the law to the extent that I'm so uncomfortable that you can see it, and I won't shut up about it because I want you to know how good I am. That was kind of their attitude. And we see when Jesus was walking the earth, and we're going to look at a document called Mark, which is in the New Testament, which is the second half of the Bible. And Mark was actually one of Jesus' disciples who had a first-hand account and followed him everywhere. His whole book is his account of what he saw Jesus go through. So let's look in Mark, and it's in chapter 2, verse 23 to 27. One Sabbath, Jesus was going through the grain fields, and as his disciples walked along, they began to pick some heads of grain. The Pharisees said to him, "Look, why are they doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath?" He answered, "Have you ever read what David did when he and his companions were hungry and in need? David would have been a story from the old Hebrew scriptures. He said, in the day of Abiathar, the high priest, he entered the house of God and ate the consecrated bread, which is lawful only for priests to eat, and he also gave some to his companions. Then he said to them, and this is important, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. One interesting thing about when the Sabbath was started, when God came to the Hebrew people and gave it as a command to them, to the Jewish people, they were the only culture that would have had a day off. All the cultures around them actually had 7-day work weeks, or just like there was no such thing as a day off. You went to work and that was life. You think it's hard now? Work, 2 days off. Like we have 2 days off now generally. We have a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Back then these guys would have been just like just worked to the bone, no end. So if you actually look at Sabbath and you're like, man, like it just seems like this seems so restrictive, this seems like you're trying to control people. The original intention was actually time off for multiple reasons, for physical health, mental health, and obviously we're going to get into spiritual health. But it wasn't meant to be legalistic at all. But yet we see what that became for these religious leaders at the time. And it wasn't about not so much not doing certain activities as much as it was the value of taking a break, that it would be a benefit to you. It was something that a rest is a good thing. And we can even see today, like if you talk to any scientist who deals with neurology or sleep psychology, I actually recommend a book by Dr. Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. It's a pretty heavy one, but if you want to do an audio book, I recommend that as well. Goes into the reasons we sleep and how much it impacts our physical health, skill development when you're trying to get better at sports, or like if you're trying to do exams, like the time that you need to sleep and how much benefit comes from it. Recommend that book. And so this is important. Rest matters. And yeah, Jesus, a lot of the laws that were back in the Old Testament, he came and didn't necessarily get rid of them, but he fulfilled a lot of them. So maybe we don't have to follow them quite the same as they were before, some more specifically than others. But here's the problem. There's still value in the Sabbath. There's still value in following it, in participating in it. So much that I would say the Sabbath is not so much a law that we're bound to, as much as it's an opportunity we're welcomed into by God to rest. And like I said, our culture just wants us to go, 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 go. Don't stop, don't rest, don't reflect, don't take any time, don't be quiet, just always have headphones in, always be listening, always be busy. But that's not the best for us. You might be sitting here right now, you're at home, you're watching online, and you're like, that's me. When was the last time you actually took a break? That you actually rested? That you took some time by yourself, that you took some time for yourself, that you took some time for you and God to spend together. Sabbath is good and rest is good for a number of reasons. One, it allows us to take a break mentally and physically. That's just psychology and science would tell you that. It makes sense. You can't keep going. But I really like this. This is one of the prime reasons why I think it's important. It allows for time for us to reevaluate our lives and the world around us. Take some time and actually analyze your life. Think about the conversations you've been having. Think about the way you think. Think about the way you view the world. Think about how you're participating in society. Think about your relationship with Jesus. Talk to God. Also number 3 is taking a full day puts us into the same pattern that God followed himself. We saw when he created the world on the 7th day, he took time to rest. He took a day. He actually showed us the example of following this because it's good, not because it's restrictive, but because it's good and necessary. When you're working out, if you go to the gym every single day, even like Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Rock, I don't know, whoever the person you think is the most fit on earth, they go day after day after day. They hit it, clang and bang at the gym, and they're just crushing weights. Doesn't matter how good a shape they are. It doesn't matter how their genetics are. They have to take a day off. You've probably heard of rest day. If you don't, you burn out. If you don't, your muscles don't grow. They atrophy. You actually can get sick. You get injured. And if your body needs a day off, your spirit and your soul and your mind do too. And listen, I understand that there's sometimes where scheduling gets in the way and the world gets in the way and you have to actually you're a little more busy than you'd like to be. But I'm talking about just choosing to take a moment, choosing to take a break, choosing to build rest and schedule it into my life, into your life. And if I could be totally honest with you, I suck at this. This is a challenge. I've been working through this the last week or two and just feeling, man, I'm not good enough at this. Even my staff has said sometimes, like, for me, a day off isn't Sunday. I work all Sunday. So my day off is Friday. But it's so easy to just like, I'll work a little bit today, right? I'll work a bit. I'll take a little bit of time. Or just, what does it matter? Or I was not very busy this week or something like that. And listen, I understand. There's nuances and there's scheduling issues and whatever. But it's just, I like being busy. And if I'm being honest, it's sometimes because then I don't have to deal with anything else. I can just keep pushing forward, get the blinders on, and just go after it. And this isn't about like being a Pharisee. Like, what does it mean to actually not work? Because it's not about not being able to lift your finger. You don't have to like go lay on your bed, go to church, and just get home as quick as you can. Go the most direct route because turning your steering wheel is too much work. And make sure you drive an automatic because standards are too much work too. And then you got to lay in your bed and just make sure you don't blink more times than you need to because that's lifting your eyelids more than you need. And all you can do is lay there and go, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. That's not what this is. It's not meant to be restrictive. It's not meant to be weird. It's meant to be beneficial. So here's what I would say we should do. We should all try and build some more rest into our lives. On multiple levels, your life will be better, your body will be healthier, your mind will be healthier, but even more so, you'll have a better connection with God. I mean that. You will be able to. The amount of times that I'm able to build this in, you feel closer to God. You know yourself better. So what are a couple of steps that you can take this week, starting tonight or tomorrow, daily for the next week, even if it's just once this week, to try and build these patterns in your life? I want to give you 4. First, you should be taking a day off. I understand students have some troubles with this. It's summer. We should be able to find a day off. Pick a day. It doesn't have to be Sunday. But pick a day and try and give that to God. Give that to rest. Where you limit what you do, you limit how hard you work, you limit your work for your job, and you just try and find as much time to rest as possible. Number 2 is to find things that on those days that fill your tank. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe it's just whatever. Like, find things that are not depleting. Find things that don't drain you. Do things that are beneficial to your life. Number 3 is, I'd say, find time to get away from the noise. And man, this is the biggest one, I think. This one's so hard because we're constantly inundated with that noise, with that chime of, well, who has their phone off mute, with that vibration of their phone, right? With that thing that is always bringing you new information to keep you focused on the news cycle, to be mad about what this politician said, to be mad about what the news on this side, to be angry about this, to be focused on this, but never to self-analyze and never to take a breath, to never stop and rest. So maybe, and here's my challenge to you this week, that everyone would try this once. Turn off your phone. How? It's hard, even for me. I'm pretty addicted to my phone. Turn off your phone for 20 minutes and find space to be silent. Silent. Not even with music on. Because we find ways to distract ourselves. We find ways to find another text message. You could be like, I'm just going to turn off, I'll keep it on, I'll keep it over here, but I won't play with it. I won't pick it up. And then you're just kind of in silence. You don't have to like zone out, or it's nothing mystical about this, but just talk to God and listen to God. Take a moment to listen, to focus in and hear what God would have to say to you. Even if you don't believe in Jesus and you're here tonight, even if you don't want to listen to God, just be quiet. Analyze life. I actually believe you'll hear from God if you do that. But just silence. But then the phone will buzz. The next thing you know, you're texting and you don't know where that 20 minutes went. But just give 20 minutes to God. Start with that. That will be, and build that as a pattern into your life. That will change your life. I mean that. That's not meant to be exaggerated. And like I said, spend time listening to God, seeking God, and read your Bible. And before you hit that 20 minutes, or if you can do an hour, or if you can do whatever, do as much as you can. This shouldn't be painful. But if you're a Christian, read some of your Bible, work through a little bit, read like a chapter or like 5 verses, and then sit on it, meditate on it, be quiet and listen to God. That's not a Sabbath day, that's not a rest day, but at least start to build patterns of rest and listening into your life. And that will be my challenge this week for myself. I'll be doing that with you. I'm hopefully going to try and do more, but that will be something that I promise I will do this week with you, Project Community. So let's do that together. Let's find ways that we can take a break, hear from God, be better in all areas, holistically, mind, body, and soul. Sabbath isn't some ritualistic rule book that's meant to hold you down. Like I said, it's something that God invites us into. It's an opportunity to be the best version of ourselves possible, to be more like Jesus, and to connect with Him. It's an opportunity, not a restriction. Before we go on, we do this every week. I want to give an opportunity. Maybe you're online right now. You're with us online, or you're here in person. You've never, had Jesus really be accepted as the leader of your life, to acknowledge that He's God. Maybe you've been with us online for a long time and you're thinking, man, this is the first time I've been here in person. I would love to actually take that step. I want to invite you, no matter how long you've been here, no matter how long you've been since you've been to church or whatever it is, wherever you're at, if you want to make Jesus the leader of your life, to make a decision for Jesus, which we know and I know personally is the best decision you can ever make in your life, this is your opportunity. Even if you just want more information on it, we're not going to rush you. You don't have to be a Christian to be a part of the Project community. The Project is for everyone. But if this is something that you would like to take the next step on, there's going to be a link on the screen behind me and on your screen at home. And I'd encourage you to connect there. We'll get some information in your hand. You can always email us. You can message us on Instagram at theprojectyeg. And we would love the opportunity to chat with you, to pray through this with you. We'd be so excited to have you be able to make that next step. If that's your next, please don't hesitate. But before we have the band come up, I want us to do something. The band is actually going to play just kind of quietly for a few seconds, for a minute or so. And I want you to take a moment to rest. Maybe it's been multiple years. Maybe it's been all of COVID, but you've just been busy. Your mind is constantly going. Maybe there's something at home that's been on your mind. There's a relationship issue. There's a sickness in the family. There's something that has been stressing you out, and you haven't felt rest in a very, very long time. Jesus says, come all who are weary and heavy burdened, I will give you rest. And I believe He wants to do that for us. We got our 20 minutes and hopefully a full day coming starting this week, but I want to take just a minute where you can just put your phone in your pocket, turn it off, whatever you got to do. Like, just put the phones away, shut your eyes if you're comfortable, and just rest and accept the rest that Jesus has for you. Take a moment to breathe, maybe for the first time, take in a restful breath. And then you'll experience the joy that Sabbath potentially has for you. I believe the Holy Spirit wants to speak to you. He wants to give you that rest. And He wants you to be free from the stress that you've had, from the constant go, 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 go. And it starts with a moment now. So the band's going to play, and then we're going to sing a couple more songs. But just take a moment. Take a moment to rest.
veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. I'm no longer slave to fear. I am a child of God. Where would I be without your love? Where would I be without your grace? You lifted me up upon a rock and carried me to a safer place. And with an ocean of fear in front of me, you You have split the sea in two, and through all my anxious thoughts and wavering, I can always count on you. See, where would I be? And where would I be without your love? Where would I be without your grace? Like rivers that find their way to sea, God, you have made a way for me. And with an ocean of fear in front of me, you have split the sea in two, and through all my anxious thoughts and wavering, I can always count on you. Oh God, there you stand. I'm overcome with love again. Your kindness welcomes me in. You have my heart, my God, my friend. Oh God, there you stand. I'm overcome with love again. Your kindness welcomes me in. You have my heart, my God, my friend. Oh, you have my heart, my God, my friend. My God, my friend. My God, my friend. My God, my friend. Yeah. My God, my friend. Oh God, there you stand. God, my friend. Yeah, my God, my friend.
So God, I just pray for all of us tonight. I just pray that you would teach us what it means to truly be able to hear your voice in our lives. That you would help us to be able to block out all the noise. To just be able to come against kind of the busyness and the hurry that we can find ourselves in. And so many times we can just, it's so easy to walk through life just so distracted and completely neglect, that act of just listening to what you have to say to us, of just listening to your direction. Father, we pray for your help, because it can just be so hard to do that, to really live that out, to live in a state of rest, to live in a state of just attentiveness to you, and to be able to really hear the still small voice of you calling us, of you directing us, of you speaking to us. So God, may we be people who really can discern your leading in our lives. We pray for that tonight. But we thank you for this time, Lord, of just being able to sing to you, being able to worship you. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. Awesome. Thanks, guys. You can take a seat.